You had no control over who your father was, or who your brothers were, or even who your uncles were. But you certainly have control over who you choose to marry and who you choose to date. Sometimes, when you've been used to being around a father or brothers who did not protect you, or who mistreated you, or who maybe even abused you in some ways, you'll find that throughout your life, you'll choose boyfriends like that. You may even choose friends like that. But for the sake of this video, we're going to talk about boyfriends, husbands. You will find yourself choosing men who do not protect you, who do not look out for you, who are disrespectful to you, because you've been used to being treated that way by your father. You've been used to being discounted and just disrespected by your brothers. And so you have to understand that whenever you have been hurt by people and hurt by your family in any way, there are seeds, there are little things that they're planting in you. There are little bits of trauma and hurt and pain. It leaves a mark on you. And it's up to you whether you're going to allow those seeds to grow and germinate and continue to where you have like a forest, okay, to where you have a strong fortress built up within you, where you're going to keep choosing abusive men and abusive boyfriends. And sometimes you don't really realize it, but you may meet a guy that's nice and that treats you very well, but you're so used to you've been conditioned, let's put it like that. You've been conditioned. You may say you want someone nice, but your conditioning of your mind is for someone that is just disrespectful and rude and rough and careless with you, because that's how you've been trained up. That's how you've been raised from you were young. So when you meet this nice guy that's not being aggressive or rude or disrespectful, really wants to spend time with you, you will reject it because you're not used to that. It's like if someone's been used to eating vegetables, they've been a vegetarian for a long time, and then they try to eat meat, it's foreign. It may even make them sick. And so, or someone that's used to eating junk food all the time, you're trying to give them veggies, they're going to recoil, even though vegetables is actually better for them than junk food, but they prefer that. Let me give you someone that likes to drink soda and things like that a lot. I mean, they try to drink water, their body will reject the water because the body is used to soda and that, that high fructose and all that junk that soda has in it. So it's the same thing. You meet a nice guy, you're going to find him boring because he's not giving you any trouble. He's not being disrespectful. He's not keeping you on your toes. He's not rejecting you in some way. He's not disappearing on you. He's not handling you in a way that's rude and uncouth. So it's a realization, ladies. It's something that you have to come to terms with yourself, because what happens a lot of times, women that's used to being mistreated, when they have that nice guy, then they're going to reject him. They're going to reject the nice guy, because deep down within themselves, no matter how much you're saying that they want to be treated well, they're conditioned to battery. They're conditioned to being cursed out. They're conditioned to being disrespectful, being disrespected. They're conditioned to where they should not have any expectations. They're conditioned to the point where they should expect to be cheated on. They should expect to not get any call back, get a response back by text. So many different things. They're conditioned to be abused physically, verbally, and unfortunately sexually in some cases. So because of that, they reject what's good. So again, I will say this. You can't help who your father was. You can't help who your brothers were, or brother, or the males in your family. But you can make a decision on the type of man that you choose in your life. And sometimes you end up choosing out of what you're used to rather than what's right for you. So this is something that you have to do an inventory. Really be honest with yourself. Get a sheet of paper out and write down the people you have dated or who you have gone out with. It doesn't have to be a bunch. Maybe it's just that one person. What was he like? And what was good about him? What was his character like? You need to make a pros and cons list. What is good? The pros are what's good about him. The cons was what's bad about him. Because I want you to know that someone who's funny and someone that can make you laugh, that's not a good reason why you should be with somebody, because anybody can make you laugh. There's more than one comedian in this world. Oh, he's nice, he's good to talk to. That's easy to find. But when it gets down to the character things, if you have your pros are he's nice, he's funny, he's caring, whatever, we laugh together, we like the same shows, that's not anything that you can't get with someone, because that's superficial stuff. But what about the things that's really matters? Loyalty, respect, trust, how he treats you, does he protect you? You write down the scenarios and you're going to be able to take an inventory of who you've been choosing throughout your life based on what you're conditioned to. And you'll find that sometimes the guys that you go out with, they may not have everything, but there may be some things about them that you realize that's what your father was like. That's what your brothers were like. That's how you were treated by your uncles. And so when they offend you and they did these things that were wrong toward you and mistreated you and maybe ridiculed you, it left a deposit. And so what happens, that seed grows in you. You begin to identify with whatever they said, and you think, this is who I am. So therefore you draw to guys that's going to naturally come and cultivate that seed and build on that, and cause you to lose sight of who you are and just keep going through the cycle of being hurt. And so because you're entrapped and you're imprisoned in your own mind, and all the weeds of rejection has grown over your eyes, when someone good, someone kind, someone faithful and loyal comes in your life, you're going to recoil. It's going to be those seeds of rejection that your dad or your brothers have spoken in you, that it rings true with you, that when someone wants to treat you differently, you reject it, because it's their voices, it's their seeds, that the seeds of abuse that they're planted in you mentally and emotionally and spiritually, that cries out and say, you don't deserve that type of guy. They tell him, get out of here, through you. They tell him, you're not going to treat her right, through you. I don't want to be treated right. I reject your love. I reject your kindness, through them, through what they've planted in you, but you just carry it out. So open up your eyes. Your father, your brothers, they may have done some things and they'll be held accountable for that. But you will be held accountable. You are responsible for who you choose and who you continue to have in and out of your life. The first step is accepting that you're making poor choices. The second step is getting the help that you need. For me, it's in prayer. For me, it's in seeking God. For me, it's in the Word of God. Because people may not really believe this, but God is real. And He can change things. He can remove those seeds of rejection and those things that you believe for so long throughout your life, and help you to understand why these things happen, and help you to be set free from that, so that you are able to see yourself in a healthy way. You are able to realize that the things that you went through, you did not deserve it. And the names that you've been called is not who you are. Because 9 times out of 10, you've accepted that. You've accepted that. You may say, you may complain about how you were treated. You may complain about what was done to you, but you accept it. And the way you know that you've accepted it is by the type of treatment you're willing to accept from other men who carry at least 1 or 2 traits of your brothers or your father. And as you do that, and as you seek God and you cry out to Him, then you need to find practical measures, which will be getting counsel. Now, there's so much online, but you can also go and talk to someone. Sometimes they have free counseling. People, you can just call up and talk to somebody for a while. That's available. So with that being said, guys, just realize healing takes time. It's not something that you're just going to get over. You can't just jump out of bad habits right away. But I would say this. You couldn't help your dad. You couldn't help who he was. You had no choice. You couldn't help who your brothers were. But who you choose for a partner, to be your husband, to get engaged to date, that ball is completely in your court. All right, guys.